just to review what we talked about yesterday and give you another opportunity to look at the site that we collected these fossils from. Here we go. Let me pause this just for a second to get some sound for you. The fossil site, as I mentioned, is about 150 meters above the current day ocean. Okay, so it's pretty far up there. Let's take a look now. This is right when we discovered a really cool fossil. Nice little Bucerius that Susan just found. Just beautiful. Dug it out right from the cliffs.
Right from here. That's where it was for millions of years. Right in there.
This fossil site's about a cliff about 20 feet tall. Once you get up 150 meters above the ocean. Yeah, we happened to discover this spot. It was completely by chance. It was pretty interesting. But it was a beautiful day. It was super low tide, and the birds were singing, and we found one of the most incredible fossil sites I've really ever found. Did you find anything else, hon?
Nothing that looks ready to come out.
Okay. Check back in next time. Okay, so that's just a review of where this stuff is from. Pretty amazing. So I just want to kind of go through some of the things that you're going to be looking for when you're doing your excavation of the fossils that are here. One of the things that I want you to focus on is something called classifying. And in science, classifying is one of the most important skills that you can learn. Classifying has to do with grouping things together. Grouping things together. And you can write this down in your lab notebook. And you want to group things together based on similar characteristics. Similar characteristics. So the similar characteristics that you're going to be looking for, and both in grouping, because you're going to make little piles on your desk of the fossils. You're going to group these things together based on some shared characteristics. The shared characteristics might be color, and write this down. Color, texture, shape, density. You know, how density has to do with how heavy is it, or how hard is it? It might be really lightweight or very, very dense in a small package. So density is something that, like some of the sponges that you're going to, fossil sponges that you're going to be seeing are not very dense at all. Some of the fossilized giant mussels are going to be super dense. Their shells are really, really dense. They have a lot of shell packed into a little area. So color, texture, shape, density. Anything else that you guys can think of? Anything else? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're going to take all of these into account when you're grouping them together. I want you to be looking for these. Today, basically, you're going to be getting a first look at some of the fossils that you can find and maybe making several piles based on these shared characteristics. And you might have time to make one drawing. Now, the drawings are going to include, let's say we find a snail, kind of like the one that we discovered in that video. You're going to draw, whoa, what just happened? You're going to draw the snail into the circle. And you want to make sure that the outline of the snail fits into the circle. Do a good job of drawing the picture. You also want to, if it's a scientific drawing, you also want to label the picture with the color, the texture. This might be rough or smooth. Some of these snails have ridges on them. You might draw those ridges. And the shape is given by the picture itself. Okay? So those are some of the things that you're going to want to look for. Around the room are cards, just like I mentioned yesterday. And the cards have the identification of the creature on them. When you're ready to identify the creature, you're going to write the identification in here based on the cards that you find around the room. You won't know the name, but when you go to find the fossil in the reference collection on the cards around the room, you'll be able to figure out the name and where it lived.